Welcome to Thoughts Off the Stem. Thanks for joining the sesh with me, Justin Barone. I hope you're having a good day, a good week, a good month, and a good year. That's right. I hope that life is being good to you. When I worked at the pot shop, people would always come in and they would ask for samples, free samples of things. Obviously, they wanted to check out the flower. They wanted to see what the taste, the feel, the texture, all that stuff. Fortunately, we couldn't provide that at the time. But they also wanted to test out vapes. And they would constantly ask, like, oh, do you have one of those that I could try and see if, like, I like the flavor before I buy it? And they expected you to have, like, a display sitting on the counter where they just had, like, a tiered setup of a bunch of different vapes that you could try so you could see what flavor you like. And they'd walk up and they'd be like, okay, dragon fruit. Yes, I like it. Let me try this cherry one. Well, I really like that cherry flavor. And they'd go through it. Now, in concept, this is a great idea because you could try things before you buy them. You see if you like them. You're not wasting your money. The downside to this concept, in actuality, in enacting this concept, is that now you have the entire town sucking on a bunch of vapes and just passing around bird flu and mono. Yeah, that's right. That's what would happen because there's no way that you could, like, I'm sure there's little, like, vape, what are you going to do? Give, like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. You put a little cover over the thing. Have you ever been in a joint circle with somebody? There's always that one dude that greases that joint up like he just came out of a swimming pool with it. It's gross, man. So think about that. Anytime you want to get a free sample at a pot shop and you want to try a vape, as if you're like at the ice cream parlor where you could, take a little sample of each flavor, or if you feel like you're walking down the store like at Costco and you get a little sample of meatballs and shit, like just think about the fact that 600-700 people have already had their face on that today, and they've just been sucking it up, baby. That's disgusting. I can't handle it because I remember one time when I took mushrooms, I was in a group of people and we were smoking a joint, and then after, this guy asked me for if he could have a smoke of my cigarette. This is a guy I didn't know, but then when I saw him, the only thing I could see was you ever like sometimes in movies they do those close shots of mouths, like when they're in the dentist chair and they open up. Well, this guy, it was like that, but from the opposite angle, looking down and in, and it was just like streams of spit opening with his lips. Disgusting. That's all I could think of. So there's no way I'm putting a vape in my mouth, and there's no way you should either. You should just pay the money and learn the lesson. That's what I think. But because I had these conversations a lot at the shop, and the more I smoked some weed this week, the more I started thinking about what are some things that should definitely not have any free samples. And I'm not saying that these things are free samples now, but these should not be free to sample. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Like last year, no, 2 years ago, I went and I had to have a tooth pulled. So now I have a hole in my mouth. Now at the end of the procedure, the doctor looks at me and he goes, hey, or the dentist, sorry. He looks at me and he goes, hey, at some point you're going to have to come back and get a new tooth stuck in there. Because if not, the one above it may fall out of your head, okay? And it's like a structure thing. It helps you for chewing, all that fun stuff. And then I thought to myself, what if at the end of that conversation, this dude broke out a tray of teeth, okay? And it was like everything from like the Nike of teeth, the Adidas of teeth, the Reebok, to the Gucci, to the Louis Vuitton, to, what the Calvin Klein of teeth. Like, imagine that was what you had to select from. And you could take this tooth for like a 48-hour test drive. He'll fasten it into your mouth. You could see what it's like to eat it, see if it enjoys its new home, gets along with its new siblings, That is a sample that you don't need, because think about it, as great as that would be, right? Then you have to think that every other person that goes through this dentist's office for dentures or for new teeth is going to test drive some of these teeth. And there's no way in any of these scenarios that if you're putting something in your mouth, you could guarantee that the staff of that place, maybe at a dentist's office, you can have a higher percentage of it happening correctly. But like a vape at a pot shop, they're not rinsing that. They're not cleaning, disinfecting that properly, because all of that for a pot shop guy is going to be at the end of the day. And then at the end of the day, it's like 11 o'clock at night. You want to get the fuck out of there. So all you're doing is mopping the floor and then getting the fuck out of there. You're going to forget half the time to clean the teeth, or I mean to clean the vapes. You're not going to disinfect it properly. You probably use some fucking bong water to do it, okay? And then the same with the dentist. Like, what if you miss a tooth? Next thing you know, this guy goes out and he's acting like a crazy person, like he's on bath salts because some infection set in his new tooth hole, and they put in an infected tooth, and now right into your face, and now you're all kinds of fucked up. We don't need teeth as a free sample. But let's say, for example, that this was the case, and you could do that, and you're in there, and you forget at the end of the procedure or at the end of the visit to pick up your new toothbrush that the dentist gives you, the new little toothpaste, and the new, flosser that they give you, okay? Now, let's say you forget that. So as you're driving home, you're like, oh man, I got to really take this tooth for a spin. I'm going to need a new toothbrush. Mine's too old. I need to know what it's like with firm bristles, baby. Okay? And then you're like, I got to get new floss because I want to see how it fits between that tooth and whether that tooth gets wiggly, what happens. And I want new toothpaste just because I need new toothpaste. But then you end up getting to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy is now set up like Costco. Okay. And at the end of all the aisles, there's different types of samples. The first guy you run into is a toothbrush sample guy, but he doesn't give you one toothbrush to take home and sample. No. He's got a toothbrush that everyone tries as they walk by. There's a raggedy old mouth brush just hanging out in a bottle of disinfectant. Give it a shot. See if it'll shine your teeth. And you're like, and you do it. And the next thing you know, you don't understand why your gums have come out past your lips. That's a sample that you don't need. And then you go from that guy, you go down to the end of the aisle, and you got the guy with the dental floss. But does he give you a little thing of floss to take home? No, he doesn't. What he does is he pulls like a Bob the Builder or John Holmes, and he rips out that tape, and there's chunks of meat and broccoli all along the whole strip. It's not fresh because 4,200 other people have tried it that day. Are you going to try that floss? No, you're not. Well, maybe you will because you're there and you really just need to floss because you got to see how the thing. So you just wipe off all the shit, and then the next thing you got it in your tooth. Dude, things you don't need to sample. Yeah, that's right. You don't need a free sample of that. Now you've flossed out your face and you want to get to the end of the aisle. So you go to the other end of the aisle because now you realize you've got your floss, you've got your toothbrush, you got your toothpaste on the way past the floss, and now you're at the end of the aisle and you need mouthwash because you need to see how the tooth will hold up. So there's a guy at the end of the aisle with a new mouthwash that nobody's ever tried before, and you want to try it because if it's new, then that means it may have different properties than the old one, and maybe there'll be a transition over time. So then what happens is you turn around and you accept the mouthwash. Now, granted, the mouthwash is not as gross as the floss or the toothbrush, because you could get a little cup of floss. Like, he could give you a little Dixie cup, so he's got like a string, so like you're not putting something from someone else's mouth into your own mouth. You're just taking a Dixie cup and swigging it. The gross part is this guy's going to need a fucking spittoon for you because now you're living like a pirate. Yeah, that's right. So then you look down to your left, his right, and there's just a garbage bin. A plastic-lined garbage bin with everybody's mouthwash slosh just sloshing around beside him. That's right. Get little floaties. You ever done mouthwash and like a few floaties come out? Yeah, there's a bunch of those in there. If you want to make dinner, you can make dinner from that. There's probably a turkey leg if you put it all together. These are things that you don't need to have as a free sample because disgusting. And this is where my brain goes when I'm thinking about this stuff. Because I like weed. So now you've got your face all fixed up, all fresh breath, a pearly white smile, no gunk in between the teeth, and you decide, well, since I'm at the pharmacy and I'm testing out this tooth, let's see how it handles other things. And you go down to the end of the next aisle, and it's a dude with a neti pot. He gives you a nose cover, but it's been rinsed out and disinfected really quickly and then shoved back up your nose to see if you can rinse out that shit from your head. And so has the entire town. These are things that you don't need as a free sample, nor should you have as a free sample. I'm just saying, this is what I think about. What if you finish with the neti pot, you're feeling real good about yourself, you've done your floss, you've done your brushing your teeth, you've done your did I say mouthwash? You've done all that stuff, the floss, everything, right? And now you're like, I'm feeling pretty good, I'm feeling pretty fresh. It's time to check out my feet. And you get down to the end of the aisle, and there's a dude with a foot scrape station. You know how they used to shine your shoes, right? Like a shoe shine station? This guy's got a foot scrape station in the middle of the pharmacy. You sit down, he measures up your foot, takes out this nasty old foot scraper, and starts scraping all the dead skin off your foot. Meanwhile, Nancy from down the block, who walks barefoot every day, has also used that scraper about 15 minutes ago. And now you're putting Nancy's dirty foot goo on your foot goo, because there's no way these people or these situations would allow these people enough time to be able to clean and disinfect properly in between. And don't tell me it's like a barbershop. No, I don't agree. I feel like there would be too much of a flood, because if you're handing out free samples like this and it's going like this, the way the economy is now, I can almost guarantee you that people would line up every day to do their personal grooming in the pharmacy rather than buy the products to do it at home. Okay? That's what I think. Again, that's where my brain goes in all this stuff. They put out combs. They've got a comb you want to try. They've got an electric comb that they want you to try, and like a fucking heated brush to like fluff up your hair more. Next thing you know, the whole town has lice. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it at all, man. Not even try. Nope, not even. Because again, free samples that you don't need. I'm surprised, because I buy a lot of hats. I'm surprised that at hat places like Lids or anywhere, they allow you to try on the hat, because who knows where that head has been. You know what I mean? Again, lice for everyone. So if I try on a hat, and like I generally buy it, because I'm like, well, I put it on my head now. Not that I have lice, but I'm baldish, bald kinda. So if it's a warm day, I might be sweaty. I don't want you to have to wear my sweat. So I'll take it home. But again, things you don't need. You don't need them. You don't need them as a free sample. Condoms, for 2 reasons. 1, because they never work. Would you remember? I remember when I'm old enough to know that when you were in university, they used to have like a bowl that was like a safe sex bowl at a party, just in case people wanted to bone, right? And then there would be all these different colored condoms just sitting in there. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll find like a Durex or a Trojan or something like that. But for the most part, it's just a rainbow of like blow up balloons that are condoms. Okay. If some dude was handing out condoms at the pharmacy to be like, try this out, the only way I would use that is I would strap it on my dick right there. And I would just walk around the store with it on to feel how it felt. There's no way I'm using it in the actual act, because that shit's gonna explode. Or it's just because if you're giving it away for free, it's not latex. I don't think. I've never heard of a situation where somebody has had a successful mating ritual without a scare by using one of those colored or flavored condoms. They're just those free sample dealies. Nope. No, thank you. I could understand if it was like, if it was Durex or whatever, one of the name brand ones, I'd try it out, give it a shot, but not the colored ones. No way. What if they were giving out bum wipes? But again, they don't do it in the fashion where they give you like a small package of them. They're like, here is a bum wipe. You can try this now. You would have a lineup of dudes just going in a circle, reoccurring lineup to get more bum wipes. I could see it. A bunch of guys just lined up, fucking hands wedged up their ass, just wiping for dear life. No, thank you. What if you need a rectal thermometer? What if you're really, really sick and you go in and you're like, hey, I need to check my bum for my temperature. And then there's a guy at the end of the aisle that's like, why don't you try this out? Come with me, dear sir. And they have like a dressing room where you bend over and the guy just gives you one. Then once you come out, there's another guy. He tells you to wait so that he can read. He goes out. He goes out. He goes out of the little dressing room. You're waiting there like it's a doctor's office, but it's not. It's just in the middle of the pharmacy. And then he comes out and he's reading the thermometer to give you your temperature reading. Meanwhile, the guy for at-home enemas decides to come in and be like, so now that you've had this up your butt, maybe you want to be flushed out a little bit. And then they have a chair that, you know, like the blood pressure machine. You have a chair that they bring in and you sit on it and it locks you in, and then they just do you up right there. Here, test out this enema. No problem. Again, this is where my brain goes. These are free samples of things that we do not need and should never happen. I don't know if they will or won't, but they better not. Although if it does, I'll laugh pretty hard walking by it. If idiocracy happens in life and then this becomes a thing, then it will be funny. What if they gave you like trial lube? But it's not, again, none of these things are like a full package of it or like a tester bottle or whatever. It's just a squirt in your hand. You're like, here, try some lube. Then you just have a bunch of guys walking around just hammering away while they're walking through the pharmacy looking for some glasses, maybe a stop smoking aid, a little bit of Tums and Tylenol. Little Tums and Tylenol to go with my whacking off. Things that shouldn't be a free sample, dude. I'm just saying, you know? And then I thought, okay, I'll stop after this one, all right? And then I thought about, what if you were at a sex shop? Like, let's say these are, you know, obviously you started with vapes and the teeth and whatever, and then you did, but let's say now because you're done at the pharmacy, you're feeling all good, your butt's all cleaned out, your teeth and your head is feeling fresh, and you're looking good, your feet are fly as fuck. So you decide to go to the sex shop and you decide to get your, you know, sexy time on, and you walk in and you notice that there's two little booths in the back corner, and you're like, that's new, that's never been there before, because you frequent the sex shop all the time. You need new goodies always, right? And you walk up to the girl at the counter, or the dude, or the person, the they, the them, the there, the whoever at the counter, and they're like, and you're like, hey, what's up with the boots? And they're like, well, it's a tester room. And you're like, huh? And they're like, well, you know, you'd try on, like, normally you're not supposed to try these things on, but like they're letting you now try on some of this stuff. You know, imagine that they were like, hey, here's some edible underwear, give it a try, see if you like the cherry flavor. So you and Cindy go over there into that room and you could test it out. Tell them what you think. Free sample you don't need. Then you end up in the booth with Cindy, and you realize that there's like one wall of vibrators, a fucking bench of dicks, and the other wall has a few, like, it's like a glory hole, and it's got a bunch of, you know, fleshlights on it. You gotta make sure it fits before you buy it. It's like you're at Tip Top Tailors and you're getting measured for a suit, but you're getting measured for a rubber vagina or a giant rubber dick. Like, free samples that you don't need. You also want to make sure that when you buy something like that, you're going to be satisfied, right? Because that's the whole point of free samples, is to discover new products that provide you with a better fit for your lifestyle. Right? So why not take a little ride on a dildo, zap the bean a bit with a buzzy buzz, you know? Put your dick in a vagina, in a fake vagina. Give it a shot. The booth, you walk in the next day, the booth is just rocking everywhere. All the guys that are lined up at the pharmacy for all the, you know, all the regular daily self-care routines, all of them at the end of their walk through of the pharmacy end up at the sex shop boning the cubicle. I bet you wouldn't see one girl in there. They'd just be like, no, I'll give it a shot and see what happens at home. Like, there'd be dudes in there like crazy. I think that there'd be dudes in there to the point where the dudes would be on other dudes and not even realize that they were on another dude. You know what I'm saying? We're so dumb as people. But yeah, those are a bunch of things that should never be a free sample, ever. I know it's ridiculous, but I got really high. I hope you're high. I hope you enjoyed the sesh, because those are my thoughts off the stem for this week. I hope you enjoyed the sesh. I hope you come back next week with me, Justin Barone, on Thoughts Off the Stem. If you made it this far, don't forget to check out tots420.com. Share, like, subscribe, leave me a comment, tell your friends about it. Join me for a sesh. Spark some up and let's talk some dumb stuff. All I'm trying to do is put a smile on your face, on your face, man. Okay. Until next time. Keep your lids low, baby.